So I was going through my dad's coin collection some more, and I discovered that the items in this can violate the U.S. Constitution. Hello everyone, welcome back to Quarterbash. I'm Dave, and this is the 6th episode of going through my father's coin collection. If you'll recall, a few episodes back, I took all of the containers of the items that were left from my father's collection after I sorted out all the bits and numbered them. This container was number 3, and this actually does not have any traditional coins in it. And I didn't know that. I wasn't sure if there would be any other coins mixed in, but this almost could have been looked through in the episode that I did about tokens and foreign, but it's something a little different. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. My dad had warned me that these were in here. These are a little bit different, but they're basically the same thing. Put them over here. And I'll sort out these green plastic bits. Okay. These are Washington State sales tax tokens. So here's the deal with these. I had never encountered these before in my life, and there's a good reason for that. We stopped using them in 1941. And the plastic ones apparently exist because right near the end of the tax tokens being made, they weren't even going to make them out of this aluminum or tin or whatever it is that they're made out of. They are metal, these ones, because they needed that for the war effort. World War II. All right, why do these things exist? What are they? What are tax tokens? So here's what I discovered looking into these. 1935, Washington State puts in a sales tax, and it's 2%. 2% of the sale goes to the state. Brand new thing. And apparently it caught on because we still have it. But at the time, people were concerned that if they bought something that cost 10 cents, they had to pay the sales tax on it. But if they paid another penny, that meant they were paying a 10% sales tax and not a 2% sales tax. And things were still cheap enough that pennies mattered. So, to get around that, the state came up with this idea that these tokens would be made and they would be worth 2 mil. So basically 20% of a penny. And so if you bought something for 10 cents, I don't have an example of something that cost 10 cents in 1935. Pack of cigarettes? I don't know. My grandmother used to talk about candy bars being 10 cents or 5 cents. So let's say a Snickers bar. You buy one of those and you give them the dime, and you don't want to give them the penny for the sales tax, so you give them one of these tokens. And that covers the sales tax. And if you didn't have one of these tokens, you'd give them a penny, and the store would give you back 4 tokens, which you could use for your next 4 Snickers bars or packs of cigarettes or whatever it was. So every 5 of these could be turned into the state for a penny. So stores would save them up. And yeah, and so that was the way that they were getting around not having as Americans anything lower than a penny, no lower denomination. There was a problem. Actually, 12 states did this. Washington wasn't the only one. There was a problem though. States don't have the legal right under the Constitution of the United States to mint their own coins. There's a federal currency for all states in the United States. This is not legal. It was not constitutional. You could not do this. This was just Washington State deciding that they were going to make money. Even though it was just kind of an agreement, it was like an understanding that this equaled money, you know? Apparently there was issues with the banks taking it, people wanting to use it like money. And yeah, it was a problem. And it never did, from what I understand, it never did go to a court case. Would have gone to the Supreme Court, I assume, if it had gone that far. It didn't go that far. Basically, states just quit doing it. And people got more concerned with the war effort. And then, what I think is kind of funny, when they came back in the 50s, when people our economy blew back up after World War II, people weren't as concerned about a penny anymore. So this kind of went by the wayside in most places. I guess there was one state, I think it's Missouri. I might be wrong about that, but I'm going to put a link to a pretty cool message board exchange that I found about this, where someone went on there and was quite knowledgeable, and it's where I got a lot of this information. So I'll put a link down in the description. You can go check it out if you're interested. But I guess they kept doing it up until like 1961, and they did have a court case, or at least in the state or something, before they had to stop doing it. The other funny thing about it was that this was a big enough deal that the federal government was thinking about actually, rather than doing this, thinking about actually making half-penny coins, or 1 mil coins, I believe is what they were going to call them, which would be a tenth of a cent, which we don't have those. You'll notice that we don't really collect those, except, I don't know, I've seen some weird older coins from, hundreds of years ago, so maybe we did have something like that in the past, but we certainly didn't in the 1930s during the Great Depression, and we did not have them in the early 40s. And if I'm wrong about that, if there was some special case, educate me in the comments, but everything that I looked into this and that I know about just from my simple recall tells me no. All right, so here's what we're going to do with these. There's actually nothing much that I can do with these. I'm just going to quickly tell you what's on these tokens, what's on these tax tokens, and I'll put an image of it. Like I'll get it under the scope or something, and I'll get a good image of it on the screen, or I'll just get a good shot of it and put it up so you can see what they look like. But I have 10 of this type. These are much more worn. I assume these are the older ones. They say, tax token, tax commission, state of Washington on one side. And then I flip them over and they say, tax on purchases, 10 cents or less. CH 180, something like that. Laws, 1935. So that's these 10. Now these much more numerous ones. Turns out I have 69 of these. These are a little bit different. These say tax commission, state of Washington, sales tax token. Same thing, both sides, no date, no code. Guess they just wanted to simplify things a little bit with that. And then these war effort ones, plastic, or I don't even know, is this Bakelite if it was 1941? Or is it just regular plastic? I've got 6 of these. They're all warped. And they just say Washington sales tax token. Both sides, and they've got a little 1 on them. Okay. So, yeah. Unconstitutional. State did not have the right to make its own money. Alright. So that's it. That's it for number 3, container. My dad's coin collection. A whole bunch of worthless tax tokens. Or actually, they have some collector value. They're not in great shape. There's only a few here that I think would be really nice examples. A lot of them are bent, scratched, dirty. But, I don't know. They're kind of cool. I like them just because I learned something that I had no idea about. I had no idea about tax tokens, and that states all over the country were basically minting their own currency to pay denominations for their own state taxes that weren't really possible under the federal system. So that's kind of cool. But if you know anything about these, if you have any additional information, thoughts, or questions, let me know in the comments. Every container for the rest of my dad's collection has regular old coins in them. I don't think we should be surprised with any more coffee cans that just have tokens or foreign. There's a little for it. I mean, there's containers full of Canadian, but I grew up, 20 miles from the Canadian border, so we always had Canadian money. So that's not a surprise to me. So I don't even really think of that as much as foreign as coins from around the world outside of the United States or North America proper. So I will get back to this with part 7, and we'll do some actual coin searching and see what's in there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you next time.